welcome to day number 4. Welcome to day number 7. Day number 12.
Welcome to Do It Heartily.
Again, first of all, he had to be a relative of those that he would redeem. He had to be able to pay the price of redemption. He had to be able to pay what it was going to cost. But then he also had to be willing to redeem the individual. Okay, they had to be free from debt themselves. Okay, and by the way, Jesus was all of those things. Jesus was a relative of ours because he took on flesh. He became human like us. He was able to pay the price because he had perfect, sinless blood, right? But he was also willing to pay the price, right? He was willing, and he was free of debt himself. He had no sin in and of himself. And so when we listen to God, we find these truths that assure us, that help us. But I think number 3 here is that she receives. We don't just listen, we receive. Look at verses 15 to 17 says. Also he said, bring the veil that thou hast upon me and hold it. And when she held it, he measured 6 measures of barley and laid it on her, and she went into the city. And when she came to her mother-in-law, she said, who art thou, my daughter? And she told her all that the man had done to her. And she said, these 6 measures of barley gave he me, for he said to me, go not empty unto thy mother-in-law. Again, Boaz met her needs before, and now he gives her 2 bushels worth of grain, more than enough for 2 weeks of food. Boaz was meeting her present need, and she, by the way, she didn't ask for anything. He just cared enough to meet that need, and he didn't want his potential future bride to continue gleaning in the field and be like this poor, laborer. No. He wanted to meet her needs. And by the way, that's what God does. God wants to meet our needs, and sometimes, God is trying to meet our needs, but we're pushing him away. When we should come to him with open arms, God, I want to receive from you. I want to learn from you. I want to grow from you. I want to have what you have for me. What's really interesting though is notice what Naomi says. It says, and when she came to her mother-in-law, she said, who art thou, my daughter? What an interesting question to ask. Who are you? And sometimes people are confused, like, did she go blind? Did she not know who Ruth was? Basically what's happening here is she's going, are you still Ruth the Moabitess? Or are you now Ruth / Mrs. Boaz? Like, what happened? Did he put a ring on it? Kind of thing. That's kind of the question that she's asking there. And so then she tells her everything. Hey, it went really well. We found out there's another kinsman. And so this leads to the 5th thing I think about deepening our relationship with the Lord, and that is sometimes we have to wait. And I know waiting isn't our favorite thing in the world. As a matter of fact, it's not many people's favorite thing at all. But look at verse 18. It says, then said she, sit still, my daughter, until thou know how the matter will fall. For the man will not be in rest until he hath finished the thing this day. It is through faith and patience that we inherit the promise. Naomi says, hey, Ruth, at this point, you've done all that we can do. Now, sit still. By the way, that was really wise counsel. Ruth would have accomplished nothing by following Boaz all around of Bethlehem, trying to help him keep his promise. Hey, have you asked the guy, hey, what's going on? Are we going to get married? What's going on? Our human nature is to get nervous and to want to help God out. And when we try, we actually only make matters worse, right? The best thing for us to do is to sit still. There are many times God tells us to do that. In the Bible, I think about Psalm 46 and verse 10. It says, be still and know that I am God. I will be exalted among the heathen. I will be exalted in the earth. When the Egyptian army is actually bearing down on Moses and the Israelites, you know what God tells them to do? He says, stand still. And then later on he says, go forward. First is stand still. And he leads them safely through the Red Sea. And we need to understand that there is a time to march forward and to be in battle, but there's also a time to stand still. Okay? Being still, waiting on the Lord, is sometimes a wonderful antidote to a restless spirit. The Hebrew word that's translated be still means to take your hands off and relax. Sometimes the best thing for us to do is to sit quietly and wait and listen to the Lord. It's so easy for us to get impatient with the Lord and to start meddling in matters that we ought to leave to God. He's God. And his hands can accomplish the impossible. And oftentimes our hands may get in the way and make matters worse. So what do? What are the things we're aiming to do is try to deepen our relationship with the Lord? The first one is preparation, right? Prepare our hearts to fellowship with the Lord. Number 2 is submission. God, I'm going to submit myself to you. I'm going to do what you want me to do. Number 3 is listen. Listen to the Lord. When he speaks, listen. Number 4 is receive from the Lord what he has for us. And then number 5 is wait. Wait on the Lord. Don't move at your own time. Don't try to force things. We just wait. So that brings us to the end of Ruth chapter 3. Next week we'll come together. We'll jump into the very last chapter, Ruth chapter 4. We'll see how this story ends. We look forward to seeing you then. Hope you have a good rest of the day. We'll talk to you later.